All right, welcome to the Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassian with you alongside YouTube Trev and Matthew Awanek as the Oilers fall 5-2 to the Vancouver Canucks in what was, I think, safe to say, a sloppy game for the Oil. And a lot of the players that played last night were in this game. So Edmonton now 2-2-1 on the preseason. Of course, join the conversation, 780-218-9999 if you're listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit us up on the Nasty Chat, and we will keep tabs on all of that as we get right into it with the breakdown brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. And our good friend Damon Bunting hopping on board the pre- and post-game this year. Of course, Damon Bunting Remax Elite is a consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton, and among Remax realtors, he and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram page at Damon Bunting Real Estate. All right, Cass, things got a little bit spicy at the end. Somebody in the studio, names who shall not be named, may have turned off the stream. And Matthew Wanek's hand is in the air for some reason. And so I had to go back onto the feed and go back and see what the hell was going on, because I'm like, boys, I don't think the game's over. There's 38 seconds left. And I watched what happened. We saw Adam Ernie go at it with Studnicka, and then we saw Desharnais go at it with Beauvillier, or try to at least, and then Gleason and Suter were kind of jawing at each other. Gloves on, by the way, with that one. So that aside, overall, Cass, let's start with your impressions of the Oilers' performance, and then we'll get into some individual performances or lack thereof tonight, too.
Yeah, I think lack thereof is a better word, or a good descriptor. Their first period was okay.
Yeah,
it looked like it was really good. If we look at the stat sheet, that first period looked like it was good. But I watching it, I kind of was like, they're okay. I thought it was more about Vancouver being not very good, more than Edmonton being really great. I thought the power play, the first one was okay. Second one was just absolutely, garbage.
Non-existent. Yeah.
Non-existent. That top group, so the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins line, not just in the first period or the second period, but really all night, they couldn't really get much going. And I'm assuming in the dressing room in Vancouver, Talk had probably lit them up a little bit after that first period. Mm-hmm. And they certainly seemed to come out with a little bit more fire in the second, control the play, and then just kind of control the play the rest of the night. I mean, Besser obviously just seemed to have his way with the Edmonton Oilers, but not an overly good performance. So I mean, I guess we could chalk it up here to maybe back to back. Like you're playing a couple games in a row, like some of them. But wasn't a great night, Tommy? There's a couple guys I liked. There's a couple guys. But overall, probably a subpar performance, and there wasn't a lot of pushback when Vancouver really came out in that second period and took over the game.
Let's take a look at the scoring summary as part of the breakdown. Adam Ernie opened things up. Good for him. A greasy goal at 18:34 from Brandon Sutter and Matthias Janmark. So a good, third, fourth line goal there. Second period, this is like what Cass was saying. Things started to turn, and the Canucks really took over the game. Quinn Hughes, his second of the preseason from Philip DiGiuseppe and Brock Besser. And then it would be Quinn Hughes again at 10:28, his third of the preseason, second of the night. Brock Besser and Philip DiGiuseppe combining on that goal as well. So 2-1 Van heading into the third, and then it would be all Canucks the rest of the way, essentially. Andrei Kuzmenko rifles in a shot from 20 feet out from the net. I mean, when you give a guy like that who scored 39 goals last season, 74 points, great look, and you got two D-men backing in on I think it was a 5-on-3 at that point. Brad Malone seemed to overcommit on that one, and he left, I think it was Desharnais and Nurse alone in the slot with Kuzmenko, but Kuzmenko had nothing but time and space. He could have walked that right up to Stuart Skinner and buried it. And that's exactly what he did. Hughes and Pettersson with the assist on that power play marker to make it 3-1. And then Pettersson himself, again, it seemed too easy on the power play at 5:08. His first of the preseason from Besser and JT Miller. Then Phil Di Giuseppe on the redirection, and Stuart Skinner was saying maybe that was a high stick. It stands. Ian Cole, the shot. Brock Besser, the secondary assist. Besser with the good night on the score sheet. Di Giuseppe's goal coming at 8:16 to make it 5-1. And then maybe probably the lone bright spot after the first period for the Oilers when Raphael Lavoie goes in 2-on-1 with Philip Broberg. Good read by Broberg to take the ice that was in front of him and jump into it. And then nice pass to Lavoie, who snipes one home past Thatcher Demko at 8:42. And that was as close as things would get as the Oilers fall 5-2. Cass, let's look at a positive here. And I would say that goal was a lone bright spot. There was a lot of special teams play in this game because the Oilers ended up taking, I think it was 5 penalties in a row at one point. Then they took a bunch more with the skirmishes at the end, and they got into penalty trouble. It totally screwed up the flow of getting your guys out there that you're trying to see if they can make the team. So Lavoie scores that goal. What did you think of his performance? And then the first goal was actually a depth goal as well, with Ernie scoring on the doorstep and Sutter and Janmark getting the helpers there. So what did we really see from guys who are fighting to get a spot on this team with the really only one up for grabs?
Yeah, we didn't get to see as much as we'd like, probably. But Lavoie's goal was a great goal. Great goal. Happy to see it. I mean, I still liked his game. Liked how involved he was. Even liked, he stepped in a few draws. I think he was 3 for 3. Was he 3 for 3 on the draws today?
Let me take a look.
What I don't have to check this. I didn't look at the percentage.
1 for 1. He was 1 for 1.
Was just 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I think that last one was in the third. But I did notice, when he stepped in, wins the draw. I was like, good. That's nice. Big body, wins a face-off draw. Positionally, I thought he was solid tonight. But Tommy, I don't have anything against small players in today's NHL. I don't. I think you can be small and play in the NHL.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Size can still be an advantage. And I just like Lavoie's game. I really like his game, and I like that goal. As you texted me when we were texting about it, it was a pretty nice snipe from the guy. So if I'm looking at positives, I go, that goal was really good. That goal was really good. I really like that goal. That was nice. I don't know how much else really great things I can say about this game, Tommy, outside of that. Like, what else do we got here?
Well, let's go into some of the texts that are coming in, and one says it's kind of in jest. It's from Davin, pardon me. Says, did Quinn Hughes steal Broberg's stick and then score with it on that first goal? That didn't happen. But another one was saying Broberg can't play top 4 minutes. Bring back Nurse and Cece. That's from JL. Neil Garrity says Broberg will be better with Ekholm. Zedmo says Broberg will play with Seaweed. Seaweed, of course, is Vinny Desharnais. That's the nickname, I guess, that Jay Woodcroft gave to Desharnais. Now, I point out those Broberg messages via the Nasty Chat because outside of that play he made to Lavoie where he found the open ice, he jumped into it, attacked it, if you will, with the puck to create that 2-on-1, and then made an easy, simple, nice play to Lavoie, who absolutely ripped home a snipe of a goal on Demko. I thought Broberg actually struggled in this game. The goals, the first few that went in, the broken stick or stick getting knocked out of his hand and him kind of putting his hands in the air and going, I don't know what, and then slowly getting to the bench. That led directly to the second Hughes goal. He didn't box out his man on the first one, and then there were a few opportunities that the Canucks got that were direct results of him not making the play. Now, having said that, there were a bunch of other Oilers defensemen that weren't making the right plays tonight and did not make the right reads, and that led to goals eventually as well. But when you look at Philip Broberg, what can we say about his performance tonight, and what can we say about Philip Broberg thus far this preseason?
Well, I think he's been fine thus far this preseason. You just kind of have to separate tonight from the rest of that because it wasn't very good. He struggled today. The unfortunate part is you're looking at a lineup that was a little bit better. This is the kind of the first time where you've had a more complete NHL lineup, and you need him to step out and to show some of that confidence. And we talked about, I think, on the Two Guys in a Goalie podcast a couple of times about what Broberg needs to do this preseason. And the big thing was like, he just can't make big mistakes. Like, he can make little mistakes. That's fine. He can be, but if he just kind of gets through preseason and he's just pretty steady and consistent, that's a good thing for him. He's not going to like watching the tape. As you said on this, he makes a couple of mistakes. Body language at times isn't going to help. Throwing your arms up in the air isn't going to help. It's something happens that you don't like, don't agree with, don't understand, whatever. It's you have to stay engaged the entire time. You have to respond the right way, regardless of whatever else is going on. And maybe a little bit of a sign of, I don't want to say immaturity. Immaturity isn't the right word, but a lack of experience. And I think those are two different things.
Awareness as well, Cass. He is fighting for
maybe
a
that's
spot.
A better way. Yeah.
He's fighting for a spot, and I know he didn't like the play, and he wanted the refs to know that he thought something should have been called there, or he didn't like it. That's why he throws his hands up in the air. But he threw his hands up for like 20 feet, and then that led to the 2-on-1. So that spatial awareness, that I think, would that be the proper term?
Yeah. Spatial awareness, game awareness.
Game awareness, too, yeah.
Game awareness, yeah.
He did make the good play on the Lavoie. We have to give him credit for that, but the other stuff.
The Lavoie play was nice. Yep.
All right, let's dip into the inbox now. 780-218-9999. Norm in a combine. Hello, Norm. Good to hear from you again, my friend. Says, terrible game tonight. That McDavid kid was invisible tonight. Trade his butt. This is preseason hockey. Step it up. Haha, Norm in a combine. Norm having a fun Saturday night and saying that all in jest, of course. Outside of the terrible game, I think Norm was very sincere about it. Let's go to this one. Says, did not hang this one on Skinner other than leaky on Hughes backhander. He was okay. That Hughes backhander, I was wondering how Hughes had so much time and space to walk around. Malone kind of followed him up until the far circle, and then the backhander is a lost art, it feels like, but it hit something, hit Skinner's pad, and then it trickled in. I thought that was a bad goal. Is that fair to say? That one's on Skinner. Yeah.
That one's on Skinner, I think. And you weren't entirely sure if there was a screen or not on that one. And
right.
He probably should have seen it. Probably should have made the save. And backhands can be deceptive at times. They can be tough, but you got to make that save. Fortunately, it's preseason. This wasn't one that's going to go against you and against making the playoffs or finishing first in the division. But that was a leaky one. And Skinner, he wasn't great tonight either. Not a fantastic game from him. Now there was some, the deflection goal. Can't do much on some of those, but that one in particular, I didn't like that Quinn Hughes goal.
Skinner's stat line.
Not his best.
Yeah, totally agree. Skinner's stat line tonight: 821 save percentage, 23 saves on 28 shots. Got hung out to dry on more than one occasion tonight against the Vancouver Canucks in what was a lackluster overall performance from the lineup the Oilers rolled out in this game. Let's go back into the inbox here. If you want to text in, 780-218-9999 or via the AM Nasty or the Nasty chat on our Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel, if you're watching on there. This one from ADC says, Canucks 5, Oil Condors. That's a fair way to describe them tonight. 2, Demko kept Van in the game in the first. Hughes took over, and the momentum went to the Canucks for the rest of the game. The Oilers did outshoot Vancouver 14-5 in that first period. I thought the Canucks had a good, strong 3 minutes to start the game, and then Edmonton kind of took over. Seemed like their system work was, changing the momentum, giving them opportunities, and they did end up with the lead on the late Ernie goal, and they outshot Vancouver 14-5. But then you look at the second period, Cass, and they get outshot big time. Edmonton only gets 3 shots. Vancouver gets 13. And then that kind of set the tone the rest of the way, so that's a tough go there. Surveyor Brett texts in, says, hockey is back. Tommy G on the air post-Oilers game. Hockey is so back. Surveyor Brett, thank you. We appreciate that very much. Another text comes in as it loads up via our inbox. I'll dip over to the nasty chat. Leon T says, Broberg will learn from that mistake, but playing 18 minutes today was better than he had ever had a chance to, so why not make those mistakes now and see how he does with Ekholm before ripping him up? Well,
we're not ripping him up.
Yeah,
Tommy.
No, we're not ripping him up. Are we ripping him up?
No, he had a bad game.
I don't think so.
I'm not ripping him up. Did we say he should get sent down? No,
we're not running anybody out of town.
No, we're not running him out of town. Not at all. No, he had a bad game. And
among others.
Among others, he made some good plays. Great pass to Lavoie on a goal.
Yes.
But he struggled tonight. I think it's fair and it's okay to say that. Do I want to see him with Ekholm still? Sure. Yep.
So do I.
Absolutely, I do.
So do I. All right, let's go to that text back to the inbox. Says, does Lavoie take the 12 spot over Holloway to not lose him on waivers, maybe showcase him for a dozen games and try to move him, a.k.a. Samorukov last year? That comes in from Mel. Cass, what would you say to Mel?
I don't know if I want to lose him. I think the waivers question, that's an interesting one.
I don't think you lose him if you put him through waivers.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't know, Tommy. I've liked his preseason enough. He's a young enough guy that's a big body, can play the wing, can play the middle. I don't know. That I think to me, Tom, that's something you have to consider at the start of the year. I mean, if you're going to try to squeak him through, you're going to do it in the last day when everybody's on waivers.
I was going to make that point because there's this glut of players on waivers. There's guys that have a lot more NHL experience and big body guys with some skill that you could maybe sneak him through waivers that way. I also think that his overall body of work as a professional hasn't really warranted a ton for him to be plucked by another team unless there's a GM and some scouts out there that have really watched him and honed in on him down in Bakersfield over the course of the last half of last season. You know what I mean? And one more point to Mel. Sorry, Cass. I'll just say
that's okay.
One more point to what Mel brought up. Like, how do you justify in what Mel's text says? Let's make that abundantly clear. How do you justify giving Raphael Lavoie a spot on the roster because of fear of losing him via waivers over Dylan Holloway? That's the example Mel brought up. When Holloway's probably been the best Oiler this preseason.
He's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. I mean, we talked about that, about people that have stood out or impressed you. And for I'm assuming for you as well, but for me, it's been Dylan Holloway. He's been very, very good. And in multiple roles, like not just in that scoring, like playing with the top guys, but up and down the lineup, being able to play in all situations. He's been really good. I mean, Mel brings up it's a good point.
I understand the essence of it.
And it makes me nervous. I mean, you don't want to lose a player for nothing. That's right. What makes you nervous about it. And so it depends. Like if Holloway's one of the 12, do you look Lavoie? I mean, I just don't want to lose a guy who maybe I'm just all smitten right now, and I just love his size, and he scored a nice goal, and so I'm all excited about him. So maybe he does clear, and maybe you can sneak him through. You're right, Tom. But I mean, Holloway has been better in the preseason.
Yeah,
and as of right now, he deserves that spot.
Yes.
I'm just a little scared about waivers. But
I think that's natural.
Maybe I shouldn't be.
Cass, no, I think that's natural to be concerned because we always talk about drafting and developing your guys and making sure they're ripe when they're ready. I do think that, obviously, this is obvious, the next few games that the Oilers do have remaining in the preseason, when Lavoie gets a look with, listen, straight up, higher caliber NHL players, that'll be the tell. That's where we'll see the separation. But I think tonight, given we're in game 5 of the preseason for the Oilers, to see him score, that's a good sign. But how he does in the next couple might force their hand a little bit, but it's not just finishing, right, Cass? There's got to be the whole element of where's his 200-foot game at, and have we seen enough? And I feel like all those penalties the Oilers took tonight hampered Jay Woodcroft's ability to even get a true feel and look at these guys that are fighting for those spots or that spot.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. The penalties things hurt tonight to get a look at those guys. No, I think that's fair. Everything you said, Tommy.
Davin chimes in via the nasty chat, says Raph had 3 hits. That's promising. That's good. He's 6'4". He's a big body guy. He seems to move well too, Cass. I noticed that. He seems to move well, good skater. And I think that was a bit of a knock on him before, but you can definitely improve your skating. So I think we're giving him a thumbs up tonight, Raphael Lavoie overall. And for Broberg, he made a nice play to Lavoie, but I think he had a tough night for sure. All right, 780-218-9999 if you want to text us. And if you're watching via the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel, hit us up at the Nasty Chat. I see a lot of stuff coming in right now. This one says, great job, Tom and Matt. Do you think there's a chance that none of the current candidates for the 12th forward spot, Lavoie, Sutter, Ernie, etc., end up getting it? Possibly a trade acquisition or waiver pickup steals the job. And I've seen people allude to the Samorukov for Kostin deal. How realistic is that? And I know that idea is in Oilers fans' minds because we saw it, and we saw it work last year.
Yeah, but it's got to be right.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be the right player. Maybe. But I would say more likely than not, you're probably not going to see that happen. If something works, sure. Like if there's a player, but I'm just even trying to think of who's out there, Tommy, that could hit the waiver wire, that it would make sense to do something like that. But I don't see it.
All right. Let's go back into the Nasty Chat. The inbox is humming along, but it's loading slowly. This is part of the new process here at EST. This one from Zedmo says, Nurse does take on too much. He's fast, but it doesn't always bail him out. What'd you think of Nurse and Bouchard, Cass? I'll just read you their stat lines to give you a sense of how things wound up. Bouchard was in the box a couple of times, and he was yapping at Steve Kazari, who I know is Edmonton fans' favorite ref. Obviously, people were pointing it out on the pregame show. -1 for Bouchard, 2 shots, 24-46 time on ice, 5:56 on the power play, 53 on the kill. And then when it came to Darnell Nurse, -2 with 3 shots and 24-32 time on ice, 2:05 on the power play, 3:26 on the PK. And so I don't think that was a shining night for either one of those guys. But no. Considering they may be used together this year, what did you think?
A continuation, I think, of what we've seen from them over the course of the preseason, which is I don't get that's the word I have for it. Like it, not great. Hasn't been absolutely atrocious. I don't think they were atrocious tonight, but they're just kind of
Yeah,
they're just okay. They were okay. I liked Darnell Nurse moving the puck up ice. Goal number 1. So for the first goal, for Ernie's goal, I liked that play, and it was actually a good read by Sutter, not to pick up the puck on the wall, like he just or by Ernie, sorry, not to pick up the puck on the wall, to let it go by. So I liked Darnell's quick up in that situation. Thought that was a great play. Bouchard's second penalty, I know why he was mad at Kazari. I didn't think it should have been you got a penalty for being bigger than another guy.
Yeah,
really, in that instance. So, and it's late in the game, whatever. But yeah, Tommy, they're just like, they didn't stand out in a super positive way.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like they were a little bit back on their heels in the second and third, and then as we've talked about already, the team got pretty caught up in all those penalties in a parade to the penalty box. And it's pretty tough to get any kind of substance of a game if you're just constantly in the box and out and killing and off and killing and off and just rolling through all that. Just can't can't really get much out of it. So again, I'll go back to my word of the day for Bouchard and for Nurse, which was
Strummy chimes in via the inbox, says, Bumblebee Tuna, my pretties, Bumblebee Tuna, Strummy. Boys on the broadcast were backing the interference call on Bouchard by saying the puck was 5 feet ahead of him. He actually tips the puck before he gets hit, not even close to interference. I think that was on Höglander, if I'm not mistaken. Strummy also wraps up the text with saying, these guys get slow-mo replays, and they still double down. It was the Canucks broadcast. Dave Tomlinson making his debut with the Canucks TV broadcast alongside John Shorthouse. So, yes, it was the Vancouver broadcast, and, they do look at it from a Canucks point of view. Dave was with the Kraken for the last 2 years, just if people were wondering where Dave came from. Dave played in the NHL briefly, spent a lot of years in Europe, and also did radio as well for the Vancouver Canucks. So, yeah, I think it would be, Strummy, I would think that if Canucks fans were watching Jack and Louie, and Jack and Louie were kind of giving the breaks to Edmonton, it'd be along those same lines. But I agree with Cass, and I think it was Bouchard just being bigger than the two guys he ended up taking. One was, the late one was on Connor Garland, and then that first one that Strummy was pointing out was indeed on Höglander. So there you go. A couple more texts to get to, as well as nasty chats. This one says, Gleason looks good, plays with an edge and steady. What does Broberg do that makes him stand out? Does Broberg need waivers? If not, send him down and play him heavy in Bako for 20 games. Make him earn the opportunity to play with Ekholm. That's from McTavish. I don't think he's going back down, Cass. Broberg. I think if that happens, he's demanding a trade. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going down. I don't think based on his play he should either as of right now. Yeah,
I think his play I think his play makes him the seventh defenseman if it continues, and Desharnais starts as the sixth, and then that could change throughout the course of the season. But I think their seven, if you will, are pretty much locked in. As for Gleason, I think this is a depth signing. He spent some time with the Dallas Stars, but mostly, I believe, with the Texas Stars. And I think that he's a guy that if they get in a pinch, they could call up from time to time, right?
Yep, time to time. And it's not like he's old either. It's
No.
not like he's a 35-year-old guy. Like, there's still lots of career in front of him. So, yeah, I mean, a serviceable guy that can step in. And as I can't remember who it was. Was it Strummy? Whoever it was that texted in. Yes, plays with a little bit of an edge, which is great.
Mm-hmm. All right, this one is from Taco, and I'm going to totally pass it off to you, Cass. I know the answer, but I'll let you handle it because you actually played in these games. I have no experience playing anywhere near the NHL level. Taco asks, hey, boys, this might be a dumb question, but do coaches ask players to take penalties in order to give the PK unit a few looks during the preseason?
No.
But
no, it's going to happen. You're going to take penalties, but no. No. No.
Yep. Another one says, I think CC was hurt most of the year last year. That was the reporting. That's from Megabird. Yes, CC was banged up. Cass, you can confirm that. You know him well.
I can neither officially confirm nor deny.
Look at
safe
you.
to say, what am I
know. I put you in a tough spot. I'm
not going to listen. A lot of guys play with bumps and bruises.
Yes.
And he may have been one that was not feeling 100% for the entirety of the season. We'll leave it at that.
There we go. Read between the lines. Yeah. All right, Cass. So the Oilers now get a day between games. Are you shaking your head at me? Or were you shaking
I was
your
nodding.
Head? Okay. Sorry.
I was listening.
I was
practicing active listening, Tommy, because it's like I'm looking. I can see you, so I'm listening. I'm nodding because I'm listening.
I love how we can see each other.
Yeah.
This is great. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so they have a day between games. They'll go to Seattle tonight. They're going to do a team activity. The fabulous Kate Doyle has set everything up for them. I'm assuming it has something to do with being on the water or something along those lines. Lots to do in the Seattle area. And then, Cass, they will be back on the ice against the Kraken Monday night, what do you anticipate on Monday? And is it safe to say we'll probably see a pretty good lineup compared to the one we saw tonight?
3 games left. I think you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to. And I think, and we talked about it a little bit today, and we didn't see McDavid and Draisaitl because we didn't know the lines heading into it. But I want to see that power play start to click. I want to see the chemistry from those top guys really start to pop. And I want to see just increased execution. Sloppy game in the second and third in particular today. Got to start cleaning it up. I know there's still, it's like, oh, there's still 3 games left. And there are, but boys, it is time to get it in high gear if you want to hit the ground running. So let's clean it up. Let's get the regulars out there. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of what your lines are going to be like, who's actually going to be in the lineup, and let's get rolling. That's what I want to see. Now, maybe they give one more game and then just play everybody the last 2.
Yeah.
I guess we could see one more addition game, especially with the number of penalties today. So we'll see. But for me, I want to see the big dogs in, and I want to see everybody rolling.
Cass, which guys need to worry about their standing and being sent down to the minors right away?
Well,
here?
all your PTO guys here need to I mean, that's going to be your is anyone actually going to get a deal?
Ernie and Sutter. I know we were talking about them a little bit on the pregame show. Have they done anything? I mean, they did combine for that goal in the first period, but I'm not going to lie. I said something to the boys, to YouTube Trev and Awanik, while we were watching the game here in the EST studios, and I'm like, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing Sutter turn the corner.
No, not seen enough. There was a couple plays, one cross ice pass I saw where it's like, kind of an example of the lack of touch. Yeah. So again, maybe if you can get him on a 2-way and you send him down, but I just don't see there being a spot right now for him, and for Ernie as well. It's not like he's been bad, but who's he going to take out? I don't see it.
I mean, today for Ernie, just to touch on him, that's about as good of a result and impact he could have.
Yep.
You know, he goes, and the fight he didn't need to do, but he wanted to get people's attention, especially the management team and the coaching staff, and he does get that goal. So, but I think it was an uphill battle for him anyway.
Yep.
With this situation. Okay, one more text for you, Cass, and then we'll head to break. It's from Brendan. He says, hey, boys, do you guys think that Desharnais has been good in preseason other than on the PK? Seems like he's 2 steps behind and just blindly fires pucks in his own end. And I know that was something, reading Speck's article, because Speck had a chat with Desharnais. He did some specific work with like colored pucks, and each puck represented a situation, and he had to handle it. And then with the skating thing, because he is so tall and lanky and big, like I said, if he found ways to manage his gaps, and maybe if he isn't a step quicker, he's still able to put himself in the right position despite the lack of foot speed, he should be okay. So what are you seeing from Vinny Desharnais so far this preseason, as Brendan asks?
He's been okay. Tom, would you say he's any faster thus far?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I think his touches with the puck maybe a little bit better, but they're not great.
Yeah.
But the decision making, is it better? Brendan's asking about that.
Oh, hard to say with a game with this many penalties in this one in particular. Hard to. I almost feel like we need to see him in 3 or 4 more games. Well, really, it's like we need a bigger sample size before we can really say.
I was going to say, Cass, too. I think we need to see him with the guys that are actually be on the team.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Yeah. Anything on Nugent Hopkins, Kane, and Brown? Brown played a lot today.
Brown, I thought Brown's game was all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking what we're seeing from Connor Brown. Want to see him again with Connor on that top line. I want to see more of that. Nugent Hopkins wasn't great today. Kane,
I don't know. I think I'm not going to say it, but I think you could get more from Kane, and I think he's waiting for the start of the season. That's my
it's possible
feel of it.
Because there hasn't been very much GM there, has there been?
It's not a fully engaged Evander Kane. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cass, great work as always. That was the breakdown brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. We will do this all over again. We're going to do the last preseason game of the year, Cass. So be ready to go, okay?
Oh, I'm always ready to go.
I know you are. You're a pro. You're a pro's pro, my friend. Great stuff. Rest up. Have a great week. We'll see you in and around the studios, and we'll catch up with you next Friday when we do the final game of the preseason right here on the Oil Stream. Thank you, Cass.
Sounds good, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
All right. That was our game analyst, Matt Cassian, on the breakdown. We're going to take a quick break. Keep those texts coming in via the inbox 780-218-9999. We'll get to as many as we can. And then the nasty chat continues. I love the nasty chat. And I'm trying, and I know I'm rattling off a few of these. And some of them I'm actually reading mid-conversation between some of you. I apologize. And I know Dusty and Eric have been kind of figuring out the ebbs and flows of the nasty chat. I'm just catching up. I love it. Keep it coming. That's the beauty of doing this on camera as well via traditional audio. So we will get to as many of your questions and comments on tonight's game and the preseason thus far as we can. We'll go for another 20 minutes or so, but time now to take a quick break right here on the Oil Stream on Edmonton Sports Talk.
The Nielsen Show.
You know, on airplanes, WestJet lately, in the little snack box they give you, a little chocolate in there. It's called Awake. Have you seen this Awake chocolate? And it comes with caffeine in it. So I've been taking those and pretending it's like a real kick. Yeah. I was just like, oh, here we go.
Under the tongue and away we go.
Yeah, I turn around to the rest of the plane. I say, it's about to go down. And I open up and I eat this Awake chocolate. Hey, Dusty, yelling, it's about to go down on a plane is probably not a good thing. That's a good point.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings at 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell take you on a hot lap around the NHL with Hello Hockey, Saturday mornings at 10, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast, located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Friend of EST, Eric Thomas, takes you around the track all the way to the checkered flag on Raceline Radio, Tuesday nights at 8 and Saturday morning at 9, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Catch up with friends of EST, Andrew, Mike, and Kayla, as they get you in the huddle with the Edmonton Elks on the Turf District. Thursday nights at 8, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for the Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
This is the Oil Stream postgame show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you, as well as Matthew Iwanek and YouTube Trev. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, appreciate it very much. Smash that thumbs up button, hit those likes, and if you haven't subscribed yet to Edmonton Sports Talk, please do. We certainly appreciate that. And if you're listening on the old audio stream, you can text in 780-218-9999. The nasty chat continues on. I like to see that. Smash the thumbs up. I like people supporting that cause indeed. We can get that number up. I think it's at 19 right now. So be sure to do that. Thank you, as always. So the Oilers fall 5-2 to the Vancouver Canucks. Not a great game for the Oilers overall. A lot of guys who had played the night before in Calgary. We saw guys like Griffith, Malone, Hamblin, Bourgault, Desharnais. I believe Desharnais played in Calgary last night. Niemelainen did. And so that was, I don't know how much of a factor it really was, but I think it does play into it a little bit, especially with the travel associated with everything. They came back last night, practiced here, flew back to Vancouver, and now they're going to have a mini road trip as they head to Seattle for Monday's tilt. They'll do a little team bonding activity tomorrow in Seattle, and we'll see who Jay Woodcroft rolls out roster-wise against the Kraken. Also, let's hear from our newest member here at EST, YouTube Trev. Are you running the board right now?
Snap. Yeah. I'm giving it a go, giving it the good old college try. Definitely a lot of help from Maddie.
This isn't college anymore, son.
Yeah.
I can't believe I said that.
Yeah, this is no joke. This is pretty sweet. It's just reading all the comments, man. Keep them coming. You guys are crushing it. This is a lot of fun. For sure.
Good. How you feeling back there? Is everything good?
Yeah, man. It's definitely, I'm kind of like Broberg right now. I'm still working my way up, right? But I'm getting there, guys. So bear with me for the first little bit, but having a lot of fun. This is pretty sweet for sure.
All right, YouTube Trev, you've watched a lot of Oilers hockey.
Yep.
Especially the last couple of years. What did you see tonight?
I mean, what an eventful game that was, eh? Well,
if you're a Canucks fan, sure, yeah, you're being facetious.
No, I mean, yeah, that was it was about as preseason as it gets, really. 2 goals for us. I mean, you guys,
were you playing tonight, Trev?
Sorry, yeah, two goals for the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
What number are you? I'm just
kidding. Yeah, man, you guys pretty well alluded to everything. It was just an average game. Broberg. I mean, you guys talked about his play. He looked okay in that one play, man. But I mean, a lot of the comments they're kind of nailing it right on the head. He's looking a little rough around the edges. When we drafted him, he was a puck moving defenseman, and that's what he was touted to be. And so that's what I want to see for sure. I want to see Philip Broberg skate with the puck way more. And in that one play, that's what he did. So here's hoping he'll get that confidence coming, and that's what I like to see from him. As far as the top line, you guys talked about it a little bit. Connor Brown, I know Matt said he looked good, but you and me were talking about it. He was saying 17 minutes.
We looked at his ice time. It was 17 minutes, almost 10 minutes left in the third period.
Yeah,
really, he's been up there that much.
I did not recognize him a heck of a whole lot, but they say sometimes that's a good thing. So not bad there. Nuge, pretty okay. Kaner, you guys definitely got that right for sure.
I'll appease the masses. That penalty Nugent Hopkins took was stupid.
Yeah.
Not a good penalty.
No, for sure. But yeah, I kind of want to talk about Lavoie. You look back at pretty well every goal that he scored last year back in Bakersfield Condors. He's really a guy that he doesn't generate the scoring chances himself. I find that he does well at finding the open spots, and that's kind of what he did tonight.
He's a finisher, right?
Yeah, he's a finisher. Yeah, for sure. So he's not going to be the guy skating with the puck, going into the zone. Maybe he can be. Maybe that's something we start to see if he, down in Bakersfield or in Edmonton, wherever that may be. But every goal. Maybe not every goal last year, but he was always the guy. Just get the puck to Lavoie and see what he can do. And it was on kind of full display with that one goal.
Yeah. YouTube, Trev, nicely done. That was a very thorough rundown.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Yeah, not bad. It was fun. I liked, as always, I'm a fan of Tommy's for sure. I've been watching Tommy since Oilers TV, so it was pretty cool watching the game with him tonight. How do you do? That was pretty sweet. Doesn't get any better than that. And so
wow.
I enjoyed that.
Oh, now you know why we like YouTube Trev so much. He just pumps our tires. Good job, YouTube Trev.
Thanks, buddy.
What I wanted to say was this is something that alarmed me that you brought up today. I'm learning more about you, and it's been great having you these last couple of weeks. Love the energy. But how in the world have you not had a donaire yet?
Oh, yeah. This is, man, I've been
This
in
is a
Edmonton
thing.
for a year now, and I actually, believe it or not, I had no idea what a donaire was until I moved to Edmonton. So, I'm still looking. Maybe drop a comment in the nasty chat. Where's a good place to get a donaire?
You've cracked it open, my friend. You're going to see a lot of recommendations coming in. So we need to get YouTube Trev his first ever donaire. Great work tonight. And I'm surprised Matty handed you the reins right away. How's he doing, Owanik? Thumbs up. Very nice. Matty's like, he's doing fine. He's doing just fine. YouTube Trev, great stuff. We're going to be hearing and seeing more from you as we progress, especially here on the pre and post game shows. Greg says, Tardy Tom, what's the manual beside you with the oil logo? I can only assume it's the media guide. If so, what's the most informative part of that specific media guide? Well, in my Padfolio, where I just jot notes down when I watch games, I do have the training camp media guide just for reference if I need to look at anything. The most informative thing about it, it does have like the depth chart. It just has the bios and all the players. So if you need a little backgrounder on a guy you don't really know much about that just came to the organization, I'd say that's usually the best thing, especially with the draft picks as well. And then it actually, the PR team, Jamie Carmel and Sean May, also include all-time numerical roster, yearly affiliates, Bakersfield Condors, Fort Wayne Comets, and then just general media information. So you have like all the numbers that the guys have worn over the course of the history of the Oilers in the National Hockey League, some stats and stuff like that. So this is good to have, especially in the preseason with new players coming into camp, but the actual media guide is usually 3 or 4 times thicker and has everything you need to know. I call it the Bible, and every team puts one of these out every season. So thank you for the question, Greg. That is what this booklet is, and today wasn't used that much, but especially early in camp when you want to get to know a guy that is coming to the team, you take a look at it. So that's what we use. And then Rashog, for some reason, calls my Padfolio something out of the 80s, but he hasn't left 1999. I'm just saying. Yeah, YouTube Trev likes that one. All right, you're getting a ton of recommendations for your first donaire.
I see that. Yeah, there's quite a few. Swiss donaire.
That's my favorite.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll. I'm sure there's a Swiss
we'll get you
donaire in the neighborhood.
We will get you a donaire. I think Strummy's got one for you. Strummy actually photoshopped a picture of Trevor from Trailer Park Boys with a Edmonton Sports Talk logo on it, and he assumes that's what you look like. Very close.
I seen that, and I shared that. So a lot of buddies from back home. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, a lot of people back home, they like that one for sure. My buddies gave me they laughed.
That's a good one. We do have swag that will be coming out as well, and Awanik is handling that, courtesy of our good folks at The Hive. All right, we do have some post-game video and audio to roll out from the locker room. We are going to hear from Jay Woodcroft. Do you need a second or two, Trev, to get that up and running, or do you have it? We're good to go? Let's dip into the Oilers locker room postgame and hear from head coach Jay Woodcroft.
Jay, it's been a demanding week, 5 games in 7 days. What's impressed you about how this team has pushed through a demanding schedule like that?
Well, I think we've gotten a lot of good things done here over this last, I would say, 10 days, going back to the start of training camp. But I thought coming into a tough building versus basically Vancouver Canucks lineup, really liked the way we started tonight. I thought we gave ourselves a chance by playing fast and getting on top of them and doing and controlling most of the game through the first half. And then, we made a mistake here or there, and it kind of compounded. We took some penalties, but we'll learn from it and move on.
Is there an element of the pace of this week that really sets you up for the season?
Well, I like where we're at right now in terms of some of the things that we've covered. And most of them have been on the defensive side of things. We haven't spent a lot of time on the offensive side of things just yet. We haven't iced a full lineup just yet. So anxious to take this day tomorrow to come together as a team off the ice so that we can prepare to attack the last 3 preseason games with a certain type of intensity and get closer towards what our opening day lineup will be.
When it comes to the team's kind of key message of focusing on the day's business, how have you seen that play out through preseason, through main camp, and the way that these players have embraced that mentality?
Well, I've seen it. I've seen it day in, day out. Like you said earlier in your first question, there are 5 games in 7 days. It's not an easy task. Some of them have played 4 games. Some of them played 3 games. Some of them played back-to-back on numerous occasions. You couple that with all the work that we're doing in practice. We said at the beginning of training camp that we wanted to test our people both physically and mentally, and we're accomplishing that. Now it's about recovering tomorrow to set us up for a big game on Monday night in Seattle. We're going to continue to work on things as this last week of preseason progresses, and we'll be ready come opening night.
From the non-regulars that you had in the lineup tonight, was there anybody whose game particularly stood out to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, unlike their squad, we had a lot of non-regulars in our lineup tonight, and I thought our kids really performed, to their expectation. I thought Raphael Lavas scored a really nice goal. He got himself inside the dots in a scoring position. Bourgault had some nice shifts. Hamblin had some nice shifts. Those were the guys up front. On the back end, obviously, Gleason made some plays. Niemelainen continues to impress. Broberg and Desharnais had good moments, and all of them had learning moments as well. But, I thought some of our kids are really taking a step. That was, as I said, that was their lineup right there. They're a good team. And I really liked the first period, probably the first half of the second period. Then we started to run out of gas, take some penalties, turn some pucks over, and we were made to pay tonight.
The other end of the spectrum, what have you seen from Brendan Sutter?
Brendan Sutter, someone who comes to work every day with his hard hat on. He's missed a lot of time here. 2 years away from the game at this level is a long time, but he came into camp at peak condition. He feels healthy, which is an important first step, and I see him getting better every day.
And in terms of roles for the kids, and you mentioned playing against basically the Canucks' real lineup, how valuable is it for them to maybe play higher in the lineup than they would get an opportunity to otherwise, and really sort of learn what it takes to be successful in those positions? Yeah,
I think it's invaluable experience. We can talk about it all we want, but until they experience it and feel what it's like to play against players of JT Miller's ability or Elias Pettersson's ability, Quinn Hughes. You can talk about it all you want, but until you experience it yourself, that's when the real learning begins. I thought our guys had some good moments, some moments that we're going to have to clean up and get better from. But we're going to take the lessons from today's game, move forward, be ready to play a tough Seattle team on Monday night.
All right, there you go. There is Jay Woodcroft following his team's 5-2 loss at the hands of the Vancouver Canucks. Second regulation loss for the Oil in the preseason. Still 3 preseason games remain. We will see them in action Monday night against the Seattle Kraken. That one goes at 8 p.m. our time. And then 7 o'clock on Wednesday against the Calgary Flames. And then they wrap up the preseason sked at home against those very same Seattle Kraken. That's a 7 o'clock start our time. We will have a pregame show for you on the Friday. And TBD, unlikely on postgame. We're going to hammer out the details on that. But we want to get a couple of in before the start of the regular season. We'll be good to go for October 11th as the Oilers take on the Vancouver Canucks. And then they are going to return home to take on the Canucks on the following Saturday on the 14th. And we'll be off and running for the regular season. One thing I noted there about Jay Woodcroft's post-game was he's talking about a lot of time in the defensive zone, haven't spent a lot of time in the offensive zone on the offensive side of things. And, maybe that has something to do with the personnel that's been rolled out in a lot of these games. McDavid and Draisaitl I thought they looked good in the game that they played. Obviously, they won that game. McDavid scored a brilliant goal in overtime, but I almost felt like they were toying with the Canucks in that game last Wednesday, and a lot of looks getting passed off. But there have been a lot of opportunities in this plethora of exhibition games for guys that won't necessarily be on the team, and tonight might have been another example of that. So with 3 preseason games remaining, I think we're going to see a heavy dose of the regular roster, which is a good thing because the Oilers haven't scored a ton of goals this preseason, but I don't think that has to do with the team as a whole. I think it's just the individual rosters that they've dressed in these games. I don't know if you're going to get a lot of argument in regard to that at this point. Let's dip it to the inbox one more time here, 780-218-9999. This text comes in from McTavish, says, Sutter not fast enough. It will be tourists all over. Maybe he needs to figure things in Bakersfield before Oilers commit. Why not put Holloway in top 6? And do you think Derek Ryan is a better option than Sutter right now? Honestly, McTavish, yes. I truly do, because then you're not forcing a guy onto the cap. It's not making you maybe have to create room for a guy, and you're not hoping for a guy that really right now is a question mark, and he's not giving you a ton of answers in a positive light. I know he'll probably play another game or two in the preseason before the Oilers make their decision and decide the future of Brandon Sutter. But yes, in that regard, to your question, do you think Derek Ryan is better as an option than Sutter right now? I would just say yes. He's not as big. Sutter hasn't really been physical, but Ryan gives you a lot of hustle, and in a pinch, he can slide over to center. So I'd say yes to that question as of right now. Let's see what's going on in the nasty chat. I see people are going back and forth there, and there's been a ton of recommendations for Donaire places. Primetime, that's a chain. You see that a bunch of places, but it is good. Simply Donaire in St. Albert, YouTube, Trev. And then there's, is that Yoma's Pizza, North Side? I haven't been there. I hope I pronounced it right. Or it might be Joma's. And then JL chimes in with High Voltage. If you haven't had High Voltage on the South Side, delicious.
There's a lot of options.
It's very good. And a different type of Donaire at High Voltage. They like grill it, kind of. Yeah, it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Okay.
I drove by there the other day. It's awesome. So you're gonna get your first Donaire. We'll make sure it's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That could be some good EST content. We could all go in and see my reaction.
Yeah, it is Joe Moss. That's the proper pronunciation. I want to get it right because I didn't know if it was a soft J, but it's Joe Moss. So send in those recommendations to YouTube Trev to get him his first ever Donaire. YouTube Trev, great work tonight, buddy.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun, right? We're still getting things going here, right? And for me, I'm just so happy to be on board, literally on board. So it's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see where we take this, and we're just gonna have so much fun doing this. So yeah, thanks, buddy.
You're
I really
a ball of
appreciate it.
energy.
Yeah, man.
To be
I'm
young
so excited.
again.
I can't wait.
I can't believe I'm saying that I've been the young guy forever, but that's no longer the case. Great to have you on board. Great work tonight. Matthew Iwanek, a huge thank you to you as well. All right, that'll do it for the Oil Stream post-game show, our first set of pre- and post-game shows, and we're going to do this all year long. It's a new format here on EST where we do have the on-camera portion, and it's going to be fantastic. So without further ado, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for texting in. You know we love having you be a part of the show, and we're going to keep it rolling right here on EST. Have yourselves a fantastic night. We'll see you on Monday.